Hello, hi everyone. Rachel here from Nutrition in Bloom, and I am here today to talk about snacks. Just making sure everything is set up right. All right, looks good. Kind of changing up the scenery. Decided to do this in my kitchen today, even though I don't actually have snacks to show you today. I realized when I was preparing for this video, I need to go to the grocery store, so I don't have a lot of snacks to show you. However, I have, I think, two other videos that I am showing some really great snacks, so I will link them to this video so that you can see a little more of the what behind my snacks. I also decided as I was preparing for this that there is so much to talk about with snacks. So I've just decided the next probably 2 or 3 weeks we're gonna do more snack time topics, and I will have more examples and ideas and different things to show you, and I'll probably do it right here in my kitchen. So, thank you for being here. If you have been following me for a while, or know me or whatever, I haven't been on doing lives in a few weeks. This season feels like a very busy season of life. I don't know about you all, but let me know if that's you too, because I don't think I'm alone with this. I feel like it's the end of the school year. We're kind of shifting into spring, and especially as like everything's opening up more, it just feels like there's a lot. So why am I telling you this? Because don't be hard on yourself. Remember that packaged snacks are fine. It's my first message here. But just to know that there are seasons of life. So, and I was going to say that if you have questions on feeding or it's feeling challenging, let me know and let's chat. We can schedule a free 15-minute call where we can dive into it and get feeding easier for you. So let's talk about snacks. I have shared this story before, but kind of when I started thinking about this snack topic was almost like 4 or 5 years ago. And when my daughter, who's now 7, was starting preschool, and she came home and we were going to have a snack, and I think I had offered her like hummus and carrots or some kind of veggie with something, and she's like, "Mommy, that's not a snack." And her perception of snack had changed since being at preschool, and snacks were goldfish and craisins and cookies and all of these different things. Now, I do not have anything against those foods. Please know this. And what I have found is that we have sort of demonized snacks and kind of created this snack culture of like putting certain foods in a snack category. And what I feel like is what we want to do is to take that away. We have kind of said, well, snacks are this packaged product, like this is a snack and this is food. But what I want to do is really just take that away, in that food is food. There are no snack or meal foods. All foods can be enjoyed at different times. So that being said, I like to look at a snack as a mini meal. So kids and adults too need to eat every few hours. For most of us, having a breakfast, lunch, and dinner is not satisfying, and our bodies need more fuel than that. And especially younger kids typically need to eat maybe every 2.5 hours. Maybe it can go a little bit longer as they get older. But I also know that there is a wide range. So, if your child is older and they're eating every 2 hours, it's okay. But a snack, how I want to reframe this, is a snack should really be thought of as a mini meal. So it might be smaller than a meal. And you know what? In some cases, it might actually be the same amount a child might eat in a meal. When I think about this concept of snacks, I think, who's to say that at a 10 a.m. snack versus a 12 p.m. lunch, a child or even an adult might be more hungry at that 10 a.m. meal. So if they eat a lot at that snack time, that's okay. So I want to change the frame. I want to reframe our thoughts on snacks, in that a snack is just another opportunity to eat. We've just kind of pigeonholed it. So thinking of it as an opportunity to eat can be very helpful in not having this like snack time, this is exactly what we have. So if we can start thinking about it as a mini meal, our kids can start thinking about that too. So how do we do this? How do we kind of reframe this snack time? Well, one of the things that we can do is by serving these foods that might be these like snack type foods, again, quotes like the goldfish or the pirate's booty or, fruit roll-ups or whatever else might be a snack food, serve them at other times as well, so that they don't get pigeonholed into I just eat this with my snack. Serve them at other times, and then some of the foods that you might usually serve with a meal, maybe serve some of those things as snack times. So we can change the conversation by just shifting around a little bit how we are serving the foods and when we're serving the foods. So what I also want to touch on is this idea of snacks in the feeding environment and the feeding kind of strategies and philosophy that I embody and that I share with you all. So I have talked about this a little bit, this idea of this feeding framework called responsive feeding, which to me makes a lot of sense. We also have the division of responsibility, which some of you might be familiar with. That was this idea from Ellen Satter, a pediatric dietitian and family therapist. And in other videos, I'm going to go into that more, but in both of these ideas, this idea that, we are providing the food, we let our child decide to eat it. However, I kind of moving into the responsive feeding framework, I also want to empower my child to make some of their own choices. So as my kids personally get older, I feel like I have that personal experience. But how we can allow them to make choices or to give them a few options. I love the idea of having like a snack drawer or having some sort of shelf where maybe your child can pick out what they want to have when it is snack time. So I want you to think about how you can give your child a little bit more autonomy in this area, especially if your child is struggling, or let's say you're struggling with mealtime battles where it's like, this is what we're having, no, I don't want this. Where can that autonomy come from? And sometimes it might come at a younger age. So this reframe is very, very important. Now, the other piece I want to talk about here, which could probably be a whole video in itself, but this idea of a child always wanting snacks. Now, what I shared before might be really helpful if you kind of change up what you're serving at snack and meal times. But the other thing to think about is, why might a child be always wanting a snack? Might they not have eaten enough at the last meal? What is the timing of the meal and snacks? Are they hungry? So just kind of thinking a little bit about that can be very helpful in this piece of it. And the other piece, again, when we talk about the what, and again, I'm going to go more into the what in another video, but when we talk about the what, meals and snacks, I like to recommend they contain maybe 2 food groups at least. So having something maybe with a little bit of protein or a little healthy fat is going to help your child or yourself, if it's your snack, feel more satisfied and more satiated. So, just having like a bag of chips is fine, but how can we maybe pair that with something that is a little more filling, so to speak, where we're at least offering it? But that can sometimes play a role in a child who is always wanting snacks. Um, and I will probably dive deeper into that when I do a little more of my showing you snacks. So, the last piece here, I feel like this is kind of a three-part video, but the last piece here is just thinking about the what of snacks. So I divide these snacks into three different categories. I have the packaged snacks, the prepared snacks, and the make-ahead snacks. So the packaged snacks are going to be those foods that come from a package, right? Like a bar or goldfish. I keep using goldfish, or whatever else, but something that you can just grab and take with you. Prepared snacks are going to be like preparing an apple with peanut butter, or something else that maybe takes a little bit of prep work, maybe cheese and crackers, although that could be packaged. Okay, there's similarities in all these categories, but there might be a little bit of a I want you to think about those types of snacks. And then we have make ahead, where maybe you make a batch of muffins, or you do something else to make something that is prepared, or a quesadilla. Now, there's nothing, I'm not saying you need to have a variety of all of these, but it would be it is nice to have a bit of variety if you can, but to also just think about what works best for your family and what season of life are you in. At the beginning of this, I mentioned that we are in a very busy season right now, right? With the end of school, with lots of stuff coming up. So are you going to be serving more packaged snacks than you might otherwise have? Maybe you're out more, your kids are playing sports. That's okay. It's okay. It's like part of this is just being okay with where you are and knowing that it's not always going to be this way. And that the more that you can just continue to offer your kids these foods, the better that it's going to be. But know wherever you're at, it's okay. One of the questions that came up here was what to do, or somebody said that their child kind of calls snacks like junky snacks. I recommend taking that language out if possible. And this is a little bit more kind of how we talk about foods video, which I can share as well. But how we talk about food matters, and I do not like to categorize like good or bad food because food doesn't have a moral value, right? It's all food is fine for our bodies. There's no such thing as a bad food. My kids and I, we have a joke. We say, well, eating paper is bad. Drinking toilet water is bad, right? But food is not bad. And I tend to use this also with like junk food. You know, when I think about, and actually my kids for the first time heard the word junk and we're like, what, what does that mean? So I explained to them how some people call some of these foods junk foods, but we talked about, well, what is junk? Junk is usually garbage. It's something that we throw away. So I don't like to equate junk with foods that we're eating because I find that connotation can sometimes be confusing for kids. So those are some of my thoughts on snacks. What I have decided is in my next video series, I'm going to talk about how we can use snacks to help our more selective children try new foods. And then I'm also going to be talking about maybe the following week, like bedtime snack or kind of afternoon snack, because I get lots of questions about this, especially about child being really hungry or after dinner saying, I'm hungry, are they delaying bed? Are they actually hungry? What do we do? How do we manage that? So, okay, that's the beginning of this snack video. If you have specific questions or want clarification, or even if you're like, no, that sounds crazy, I don't agree with you, I'm here. I am an open book. I want to chat about this. I want to be having these conversations. So comment here, send me questions via direct message if you feel more comfortable with that. And yeah, enjoy snacks. Remember that snacks are just a normal part of life. And I find that when we can be a little bit more prepared by having these options available, it helps things to go a little more smoothly. Again, if you need some feeding guidance, contact me. let's work together. I would love to hear from you. I hope you have a great day whenever you're watching this, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.